Camera crews from across Europe have come to film this, and this is going to be a huge fight for David Haye. Over 140 countries are going to be taking the event itself. It could gross both boxers in excess of $40 million. They're going to be splitting that amount of money. But although David Haye is a big star, he doesn't rate himself as Britain's #1 boxer, because he reckons this man here, TrnCampH-Froch, who's busily engaged chatting at ringside, is Britain's #1 boxer. But Carl, yeah, David reckons you're Britain's #1, which is nice to hear coming from him. But when you look at, I suppose, your recent run of fights, I was thinking earlier today, has any British boxer maybe had a 5-fight sequence like you have had in the Super 6? I don't think Lennox Lewis had. I don't think Ted Kid Lewis had back in the 20s either. But when you look at David Haye's recent sequence of fights heading into this, you know, Monty Barrett, Nikolai Valuev, John Ruiz and Audley Harrison, I mean, is it adequate preparation for taking on Vladimir Klitschko?
There's probably no adequate preparation. He's prepared enough because the fights were all lost before you get in the ring, which is in the training and the sparring. And I know that he's had fantastic training and sparring. I spoke to one of his sparring partners last week, and he's been looking sharp. It's difficult to say, as he had. I mean, I've had a phenomenal run of fighters at top level because I'm signed to the biggest tournament in world boxing, which has never happened before. So that's a big talking point for everyone around my career. But David Haye, yeah, he's had some decent level fights and he's performed in them, which is important. He's had people pushing back. He's had people box and move around. He's been 10, 12 rounds. He knocks most of them out, Haye, just because he punches phenomenally. But he's had the rounds, he's had the ring craft, and he's had the experience. I mean, you could do with a few more top-level fights, a bit more, harder fights and more competitive. But, he's had them. I mean, I know he flattened Harrison in 2 rounds, and not many punches were exchanged, but the Ruiz fight was good. He had a couple of sticky moments against Barrett because he wanted to, David did. He wanted to have a fight. So, no, I think he's well prepared, and He's had almost a 4-month training camp, I think, for this. He was in Miami for a while and he's back over here. So he'll be happy with the preparation, the way it's gone. He'll be confident going in, and he should be. He's a phenomenal fighter.
Atmospheric gym, this, isn't it, with the trains rumbling overhead on their way to Waterloo Station. But we're in the blue corner here, which David Haye will be on the night, And it'll be interesting, the battle of the trainers in this one. Emmanuel Stewart in Vladimir Klitschko's corner, and of course, David Haye with Adam Booth. I mean, who's going to come out with a better tactical battle plan, do you reckon?
Well, Adam Booth's strongly and fastly building a reputation for having the best tactics. Some of the tactics he tends to employ seem to be a winning formula just of late. So, Manny Stewart's his experience, and he's been around a few years and he's worked with some top-level world champions. But sometimes he jumps on the top-level champions when they're already champions. So, do you
think he's really? Close to Vladimir? I mean, are they a natural pairing, if you like? Because they're different style. I mean, Emmanuel Stewart comes from that Kronk gym, North American style of fighting. Vladimir Klitschko, very different. Yeah,
maybe not. I mean, a lot of it's down to the trainer. I feel that, by having a top trainer, it's very, very important to have a trainer that you listen to and you respect, you look up to, and you get the tactics correct. But ultimately, it's down to the fighter on the night. It's 12 3-minute rounds, and for every second of every round, you've got to concentrate, work on your game plan. But it's ultimately, it's down to your own reaction and your natural ability coming out in the ring. It's down to the trainer to bring your ability and your fitness out of him. So Manny Stewart, Adam Booth, no disrespect to any trainer. I think I've got the best trainer in the business, Rob McCracken, but I'm going to say that. But it's down to David on the night to make sure he does what he does to win. And I know he's mentally tough, he's physically fit and strong, he's been eating the right foods, he's certainly saying all the right things to let me believe he's confident, and he's going to go in there and do everything which he needs to do to win. And I'm confident that he's going to do the job, I really am.
Okay, while we've got the ring to ourselves, I mean, do you want to try and block a few moves? I mean, do you think Vladimir will come out and try and take the centre of the ring? And what do you think David do? Will he kind of circle around? Will he circle away from the right cross, or will he try and circle away from the jab? Not a serious sparring session, but I mean, what do you think?
I think Vladimir Klitschko is a tall gentleman, and he's got the height and the reach on David Haye. So it'd be stupid for him to not try and take that advantage from round 1 and use the ring. So I think he can either stay on the outside of Dave, because Dave's going to push forward and try and hit him with a big shot. So you might find Vladimir is on the outside of the ring using his long range, but he might take the centre of the ring and try and control it from the middle. So if Vladimir sits in the middle of the ring and uses his long range and keeps David out of range, then that'll show trouble for Dave, because David wants to get to him and hit him hard. So you might find that Vladimir is circling the outside of the ring. I'm to give you some demonstration. He might be on the outside, just keeping around him, so you're David Haye, and he'll try and keep it long. And as David comes in he'll try and punch him and then get back behind the outside. And if Dave can't get into his range, he could find himself in trouble. But Dave finds a way to break forward and penetrate the guard of any fighter in the world. You've seen it with, it was a big lumpy box and got to Nikolai Value. He got to him in the end. It was moving circle and David was. And, you know, you might see Klitschko adopt them tactics. But David's got to push to him and he's got to get to him and he's got to hit him. And I think he's got to hit him early. And I think he will do.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what Corey Sanders did back in 2003. I mean, you have to go a long way, it has to be said. Even though David Haye's talking about Vladimir's chin still being a liability for him, you have to go a long way back to when he last tasted the canvas. But he did in that fight against the southpaw. Yeah. But again, it was shock tactics from Sanders. It was, you know, a knockdown within the first minute or so of the fight. So you think that's got to happen early? Because if Vladimir gets into the rhythm of things, David's going to be that bit less dangerous.
Yeah, but let's not forget, I mean, if David catches him early, then it's going to be a shutout. It's going to be David Haye winning early. He'll flatten Klitschko like Klitschko's been flattened before. It was a long, long time ago. So, you know, it's a long shot for David to do that. But let's not forget how talented and skillful and, you know, the qualities that David's got. David's an excellent boxer. He can fight, but he can box. I sparred with him as an amateur. And, you know, there was moments at the spar, he was bigger and stronger than me. He's always been bigger than me. He's a very big, strong lad. But there's moments I couldn't get near him. Even when he sat in front of me, I was throwing shots. He's blocking, slipping, moving, jabbing. You know, World Championship silver medalist is a top level amateur, and you don't win medals in the World Championships if you haven't got boxing ability. So David's got plenty of that. The only thing going against him is the fact that Vladimir is so tall and so rangy, and he uses his range well. He stands tall. You know, that might present a big problem for David, but he'll find a way to get through and around and underneath that range and get to Vladimir and hit him hard early, which I think is important. But don't be surprised if it goes 12 rounds and it does go the distance. David could still do this on points, because that's what he did against Valuev. Kept it long, kept him out of the way, and he nicked every round as it went along. So unless Klitschko's landing something, then it could be a shutout either way. It's a really, really interesting, exciting fight, but I know where my money's on.